passengers. Yesterday I took a trip to Edinburgh and back to move my daughter to a new flat. I've travelled back and forth to Edinburgh on 2 occasions in the past month. I enjoy driving, and I've worked out as I was driving back yesterday, during the course of a year I probably drive between 15 and 20,000 miles. And as I drive along, you feel the comfort of a modern car with all its gadgets and gizmos. And one thing I really like is the sat-nav. You can key in a postcode and the sat-nav works out how long it will take you to get to that particular destination. It kind of sees ahead of the road, and if there's any hazards or hold-ups, it steers you in the right direction. So you tap in the postcode and the sat-nav speaks and says, calculating the route. And you drive away, and even on occasions when you'll take a wrong turn, you see the sat-nav whirring and making up its mind to get you back onto the right track. And nothing deviates from the fact that the sat-nav will get to the destination. The passengers I usually take in my car will say to me on occasions, "Are we nearly there yet?" Or they'll look out of the window and take in the scenery that is going around. And yet as I travel along, relaxing, concentrating, trying to look what's ahead, watching for hazards, thinking out, something I find really frustrating on occasions. You're on a motorway and all of a sudden the traffic slows down and you're sitting in mile after mile of queue and you can't quite work out why on earth you're being held up. What's going on here? I can't see anything. What's happening? The sat-nav just simply whirs around and then says, take the next exit. And you take the exit and you follow the instructions, and miraculously the sat-nav is able to take you around whatever hazard there is and get you to the destination. Nothing deters it from reaching the postcode that you've put in to the machine. There's a New Testament story in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4. And towards the end of the chapter, the disciples and Jesus have had quite a busy day. Crowds have been filing their way into them, and they've been teaching and preaching and ministering to these people. And then Jesus gets into a boat with the other disciples and says to them, "Come on, let us go over to the other side." So confident is Jesus that they're going to reach the other side that he takes a pillow and goes to the back of the boat and has a sleep. He's a passenger in the boat. And the disciples set off crossing the lake, and within a few minutes a violent storm suddenly emerges. There's wind, there's rain, there's clouds, thunder and lightning, and the disciples are fearful for their lives. They rush to the back of the boat. "Jesus, Jesus, wake up, wake up. Don't you care that we're going to drown?" they say. Jesus gets up, stands up in the boat and says to the wind and the rain and the waves, "Quiet, be still." And all of a sudden there is calm and stillness across the lake. And the disciples look at one another. Who is this that even the wind and the waves obey him? I wonder how many occasions throughout our lives have we found ourselves in a place of a storm, in the place of a violent wind, in the place of something which is turbulent, which is upheaval, which is stress and worry. And on those occasions we feel like saying, "Well, God, where are you? Where are you? Don't you care about me?" And yet Jesus is there the whole time, confident in the knowledge that he said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side." Exactly like the sat-nav, the destination has been keyed in. And whatever comes about on that journey, take the wrong turn, get held up, have to do an about turn, choose a different route, the destination is set. When the disciples put their trust in Jesus, it was 100%. In another passage it says, they dropped their nets, left everything and followed him. Jesus can sleep in the boat, confident in the knowledge that the boat will get to the other side. The disciples are distracted by storm and wind and rain, but Jesus is there the whole time. I don't know what you are going through right now, whether it is that storm, whether it is the wind, whether it is the rain, and you're wondering, God, where are you? Far from being asleep in the back of the boat, God knows exactly where we are going. And even though we may not be able to see it right now, the plan and purpose of God is to get to the destination he wants us to be. Passengers are people who sit and just simply wait for whatever it is, car, train, aeroplane, whatever it is, to reach that destination. Are we nearly there yet? We may not be nearly there yet, and trouble may be along the way in wind or storm. But be assured of this, God is with us on our journey, even though it would appear at the moment if he's asleep. The disciples are encouraged to have faith and to have trust, knowing they will reach their destination. Passengers,